Hard to tell.
I've orgasmed.
I've orgasmed.
I've orgasmed.
I've orgasmed.
I've orgasmed.
I've orgasmed.
I'm not able to tell.
So I'll start with kind of like my ish. I kind of like stayed away
She's
from
suspect
sex for
already.
a while, but then I went to college, had that college experience.
She's suspect already because she talked
It's kind
first.
of progressed a lot from there.
Was it your first orgasm in general or with someone else?
With someone else.
For me personally, I was never really concerned with like dating or a relationship. And then I met this guy in class and our first hookup like did not go as planned, as I feel like it never does.
Yeah.
Then I like came out to California and I started like dating, and I think that's when like I had my first
Start
orgasm.
popping that
Like
pee.
there were times where like you fake it. It's like, you know, you might love him or you might not love him. And it's like, let me just do what I can in this moment.
There was something just sus about her. She's too sweet to be able to like say her piece in bed. I didn't finish because of a partner until I realized I was lesbian. So I was just like with guy after guy after guy, and I was like, why isn't this working? Something's just not clicking. And I definitely thought it was like something about me or my body. Like I thought I was being difficult. And then I was like, oh, it's not a me thing like at all.
Yeah.
4 years ago was when I got sexually active, and my first time also was terrible. It was at this situation.
It's hard to tell.
Wait, so when did you
Can you
have
really tell? Well, that's
Your first orgasm?
With a partner would be 4 years ago when I was in that
and
situation.
that ass fine. She can sit a cup on that ass.
With a
But,
partner would be 4 years ago when
Yeah.
I was in that situationship.
Oh, like even though it was like
Yeah,
not
that
great,
first
like
time
it
was
still
bad,
happened.
but we still, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you think, shoot, I wish I stopped after
You wish you cut it
Yeah.
loose.
I didn't have my first orgasm with a partner till I was like 21. I feel like that goes into a lot of sex education and being taught like sex is for like babies and not to achieve orgasm. But it happened.
Yeah.
And now it keeps happening.
I would say the
What part
first
of the
time I
nigga did that
actually
shit?
orgasm with a partner, I was 21. It was just kind of funny because I didn't think I was gonna lose it until I like got married. I'm like third generation, like hyper religious family, so church girls.
I like purity ring and everything.
Yeah.
Like it was rough.
How do you tell? It's what the fuck?
She was like giving me like young, innocent vibes.
Just off of like initial
innocent
stories,
motherfucker
I
be-
felt like hers was the most
Ooh,
vague.
how that pee?
Something she said threw off my gaydar. I'm usually really good
Gaydar.
at detecting women who go both ways, so that was a surprise.
Yeah. They finna pack shotty up.
Wow.
Really?
Oh, bye, Mia.
Just based off of the first initial take, it's kind of hard to relate to my story, or it seems very like fantastical or weird. So it kind of makes sense.
I have a question. What was your best sexual experience?
Sexual experience or best orgasm?
Ooh. I would say, I like saying like experience.
You want to share first?
Sure. I would say actually recently I went for my friend's birthday.
Fun.
And we went out to a bar. That was my first time going home with somebody.
Oh, wow.
And I think that was my favorite for sure, just because the spontaneity of it. And the guy was older, so he just really knew what he was doing.
Okay. I feel like mine isn't the like best one to go off of, but it was the best experience for me. I was on my period, so maybe TMI,
Oh
I don't know.
my god.
But there was just something about her. I was like, I don't care, you don't care, and then it
love
just
that.
happened, and I was like,
That's hot, yeah.
ugly face, everything.
See, I've had guys where they're like, like we need to stop. So I've had multiple experiences years back with older men, like mid-30s to 40s. There was one experience, it was just,
No, you know,
it
dude.
wasn't planned, like it was just in the moment, and like he just knew what he was doing, and it's like the like, you know, like grabbing me and like just yes, yes.
I've been in theater. That doesn't feel convincing to me.
I think for me was actually like a guy that I just met in college. Me and my friends always make the joke, like if they ask me where I'm going, like, oh, I'm gonna go see Rocket Ship, because that's what I called him, like that's what it felt like. In that moment when you've never had an orgasm and it happens, I just feel like it's like stars, just like, that's what it felt like to me, so
For me, this threesome I had with the well-known guy and his girlfriend, he had like a playlist like Drake and The Weeknd. And like, it was just,
I got
it's
that
a lot of
shit,
like sexual tension in one space.
That's like the main part of it, I feel like, is not just like specifically the sex, it's the experience of it.
Exactly.
Because me specifically, like, I'm not gonna come like just from like,
Well, that's
you
what I
know?
was gonna say is like, I wouldn't say it was like the best sex of my life, but when I think like sexual experience, that's the first one because there was such a mood. And of course, like since I'm like the guest star, I'm like extra paid attention to. So I was like doing things, I was on like my head doing like a handstand.
I love it.
It was crazy.
So with that in mind, like what does an orgasm actually feel like to you? Because I said it feels like a rocket ship, like a spaceship.
Honestly, like for me, your body like tenses up. How I kind of feels like melting sometimes, but then sometimes like if you change the momentum and it's slow, it feels like butterflies and bubble. You know what I mean? I feel like every orgasm to me is like definitely different.
One way of putting it is like, I feel like I'm gonna pee. Like, I have to focus. Like, I have to like make it happen. Otherwise, like if I stop thinking about it, then it's not. Then it doesn't.
I'm the same.
I've heard some people like say that who aren't like really experienced sexually. So it's like maybe she's just trying to go off like internet resources.
Oh my
I
God.
feel like I honestly blank out. I feel like it's one of
It's an out of body experience.
I know everyone says it like is it white hot, but I just blank out. I feel like it's just like one of the few times I can really like let go and just be present because my brain is just always going on.
So it depends. If it's the first orgasm, because I have this thing where like once I come, I can like keep coming like 10 times like in a row. I've had orgasms where it's just like yours, where it's like I really had to like concentrate to get there, and then others where I'm like, you know, I'm like, oh my God, I had to listen to Celine Dion out there. I was having a moment.
JC is
Her
suspect.
recollection of her orgasm, it felt very like by the book.
I was like, it's Sarah, Jada, but then Jada was like, oh, I call my guy Rocket Man. You only give nicknames to some good
Oh.
So she be popping that P for real, and she got
something
to.
about it taking so long for me to get there with a partner. And then when I said church girl, I was like, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
If you think the mole is still in the box and you'd wish to play the game, please raise your hand at this time.
Okay, wait, I have a question. When did it come to the understanding, or if you always had it, where an orgasm is about both people?
I would say in college, because I, like you, I wasn't really into it sexually. That's when I was interested in learning about other people, especially. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
After I left my 4-year relationship, he had told me like, oh, no one's ever gonna love you. Like, no one's ever gonna wanna have sex with you again. Like, literally those words. And every partner after that, I've been like focused on them. Like, it's never been about me. It's always been about how can I please them.
I was thinking, okay, well, maybe she switched tactics, and that's what really brings her pleasure, is bringing other people pleasure.
I was never really a sexual person anyway. Like, I had the purity ring. I was saving myself for marriage.
My answers were around church. I was raised like super Catholic. And so for me, it didn't even really conceive in my head that like, oh, this is for women too, because everything is so like serving for the man, cooking, cleaning for the man, having a household for the man. I didn't even literally start like thinking like, I want to come too, until I was like 21. And that was like our cultural influences and women talking about sex and being more open.
It's for both people. It's not just like me giving all to you, because I'm like, what am I here for?
I have a question. So how did you feel the first time someone was able to get you there? Like, especially because it sounds like a lot of us had religious backgrounds. Like, because I know the first time I felt it, it took me a second to feel okay. And like, I remember during the whole process just feeling like I was being watched. Like, I have a lot of like deceased loved ones too. So like, just feeling like they were watching me.
Like doing something bad.
You guys.
I'm over here just saying, I can't. The thing is, we can't talk about sex on here because I start imagining, start visualizing shit, and then it's not PG, and just end up here. You know, I'm just up here. You can see I'm just lost in fucking think about some
That's
shit.
what's like put in your mind.
It
though.
is.
Yeah. Like mentally what you go through.
Then later on, it's like, shoot, they can watch what they want to.
One of the things
Sarah's
was the
packed up. She's
white
out of here. She
shirt.
gone.
I don't know. When I think of white, I think of purity. She also said something about how she wanted to save herself for marriage. She had a purity ring. So I'm like, if you add all those things together.
felt like she was kind of like talking a little too much and trying to explain her story to where we believed it.
Fuck up out of here.
Okay. I felt like I was very authentic with my story. I think I talked a little more about my past experience with my Christianity.
That's the light shirt.
I think they kind of went for that too.
If the lights turn green, that means that you have all voted the mole out and you win. If the lights turn red, that means the mole is still in the box and you all win.
Until they jumping.
In 3, 2, 1.
Oh, I knew it. Fuck.
Oh, no.
Man.
Will the mole please step forward in 3,
I'm going to get my controller ready. Regularly players, we are
1.
You gotta be her.
I knew it! I knew it!
Shut up.
I'm so bad at that.
No!
She called that shit.
You! I like to think I had intuition. When the light turned red and there was 3 of us, I was like, I knew it was Jada! And it wasn't!
I have never come from someone else giving that to me.
What a play, sad
I
music.
enjoy sex all the time. Nobody has really taken the time to learn how to make me come, I guess. So I love talking about sex because I think that there's this narrative that everybody should be able to come just, and I don't. And I still have fun and I still learn a lot about myself.
Wow, you got us good.
I was nervous as a
All right, y'all boys.